we want to introduce EXP Lab GPT by Team Expedia. So what is our solution? But we have to start from what is our problem to solve here. So this is our team members, and our team named Expedia means experiment and explore with exceptional speed. So we have 2 software engineers, 1 data scientist, 3 software engineers, 1 data scientist, and 1 insightful creative designer. What is the problem? Is it worthy? Is it worth to solve here? So you want to throw this question, is Monaco a data-driven company? You may say yes, and they say so. It's why? Because we do A/B testing. We do make a decision based on the result of the A testing to launch a feature. And we are basically a machine learning company utilizing many data. That's why we call ourselves a data-driven company. But to do that, to be the data-driven company, how we achieve that? So we want to answer no. Why? Because it is actually human resource-driven company to do data-driven. How? Because it involves so much human intervention to fully grasp the experiment's outcomes and its meanings, to identify potential habits or risks or any advantages from the data. So data itself does not tell anything. You have to be able to interpret data to pull out some values out of it. That's why human resources are required, and so much heavy costs are borne by our data scientists, so leaderships, PMs, engineers, GMs, everyone relies on DS. And even DS relies on EXPDS. In that sense, just like Jesus Christ, we can call them DS Christ. Oh, my DS Christ. And the number of experiments that is already overwhelming, like more than 400 experiments are ongoing. This is why the costs are heavy. And preparing a lunch, that's from the viewpoint of each experimenters who are preparing lunch review. The process of writing lunch bag is repetitive and time-consuming. And as you see, the number of lunches only for this year, only so far, is 54 lunches. And the number of approvers is even bigger, 93 approvers, which means you will see all the email threads, asks, replies, back and forth, retweet, go again. This is our human resources, leadership, data scientists, engineers, everyone in our company. So our vision here is to develop an AI agent which is capable of deep experiment analytic insight. Deep insight is an important term because we want to solve this problem intellectually. So far we have put our human resources to tackle these issues, to give deep experiment analytic insight, but now it's time for us to do this intellectually using LLMs and AIs, which will give us, which will let us, which will enable us fast iteration of decision making across the entire company. Not only for experimenters, not only for data scientists, not only for leadership, but we believe this will enable fast iteration across all of the company. So how? It's not important compared to the problems we are solving and the impact from it, but we will briefly go through our architecture. So data acquisition agent pulls out all the experiment data from BigQuery and terminology knowledge base from Notion or Cool Docs, the launch review process, discussions, emails, and data analysis agent do the comprehensive data analysis for you, for data scientists. And document builder agent will write a draft version of launch review docs for you experiments, for you PMs. And finally, this is the most sweet part of our product. So decision support agents. It will assist in decision making and provide insight done by this data analysis agent. You will see soon. So the flow is simple as this, but it does as great as being shown here. But which is even more great and fun comes next. So the leadership, one of our challenges from our leadership is that they are already overwhelmed with that many number of launch process, discussions, threads. So they are also bearing some kind of heavy costs already. So we want to release it, we want to ease them by how? Introducing AI leaderships. So we probably introduce Terminator in the coming, which will play an important role in launch review discussions process for you, leadership talk in the coming. But another challenge in doing this, in using AI agent, is that sometimes it often very overly agreeable, always flattering, without giving any constructive feedback. It always say you're right and it's wrong. So our solution to that is using good cop, bad cop strategies, which may be familiar to many of you. So Terminator plays a judge role. So he makes the final decision. But before making the decision, he asks Angel Mikhail and Daniel Mikhail to discuss with each other about whether to launch this feature or not. So they fight with each other, but not punching each other, actually. So we built their character by analyzing launch review emails in their text, what they said, what they wrote, what they asked, what they replied. So it is all transformed into vector store to create each persona for each character, Angel Mikhail, Daniel Mikhail, and Terminator to make the final judgment. So yeah, this is very common for all hackathon games, so let me skip this part. It's not so special, but our demo will be very special. So let me keep this part. So as you see, this is the first page of our assistance, EXP Lab GPT. And yeah, you can even check yourself in our EXP dashboard if you visit right now, because it's deployed in the production right now, but only limited to this hackathon week and will disappear next week, so be hurry. So yeah, it gives you the most frequently asked question, 3 questions. So you can choose one of them, or you can manually input your questions here. So if you click one of the questions here, like if you ask it to analyze CTR and IPM of an experiment, of this experiment that I'm seeing right now, and it gives you the number, it gives you the table, and it gives you the analysis based on numbers. Let me skip some part. So this is the interesting part. So you can also upload an image. You can paste an image into it to ask about the chart or graph you are seeing in the original dashboard, and ask and you sometimes don't know how to interpret it, how to see the graph or chart. In that case, just capture it and upload the file and feed it to the agent and ask your question. Can you tell me about the top advertising result? How to read it? Then it gives you the summarized result, like a human data scientist you are facing with. And the sweetest part for PMs and experimenters comes here. But before that, you can ask them to, it is okay to launch this feature right now or not. We have to, so when you ask them to review the launch review process for this experiment, then this is the time where Terminator and Camille comes in to discuss with each other. So one say yes, one say no, and of course read their justified reasons for each decision. And based on the discussion, Terminator made the final decision and his insight with this reply. So this is the interesting part. And as you see this, yeah, based on these results, do you think it is safe to launch this experiment? That was the question I just explained. And in terms of experimenters who should write launch review tasks, you can ask them, can you prepare a launch draft for the experiment based on data from start date and it's specified here? Can he? Yes. Yeah. It gives you the draft version of launch review document, which is almost built like this. You just need to fill some of the content columns right here manually. So most of the manual work is already covered by agent. Yes, GPT. So yeah, it's working. It's already working. It's working, and it will be evolving, of course, even after our hackathon. What will be that impact? It got more sophisticated, but what does it have in my personal life? What does it have an impact on my personal work? What kind of impact onto me? Yes, it has. First, chemical impact. It will reduce the experience and DS burdens, so it will lay down the head cross out of their shoulders. Second, it will definitely have a user level impact who is using experiments and who has to prepare launch review process and tasks. So it will speed up the experiment launch process, which will bring us to even more greater company level impact. It will deliver awesome features rapidly, and it will make leadership happy because they work less. But even more launch review process will be more delivered with much more fast iteration loop. So is it just yes? Is it just yes? Is it just experimenters who will benefit from this feature? No. Everyone in our company will benefit from this yes implementation because it has our SEO level impact for everybody. So Monaco goes aims to go 10x, but it can enable us to go even a bit further, 20x, 50x, more ambitiously. I'm gonna say the number, but you will see how it means, where it will bring us to make everyone's life happier and wealthier and meaningful, less stressful by your daily work. This is the impact of our product. Yes, GPT. Okay.